be right. If you're looking for trouble, you're in the right place. My name is Patty. I'm staring you right in your face. Oh, I'm trouble. Baby, baby, I'm trouble. Yes, I am. I'm trouble, can't you see? Would you like to get a job with me? Feel a thing until it's too late. There ain't a man that I can't handle. What I'm gonna give you, baby, you won't forget. Oh, I know what I want and I know what I like. If I give it to you once, you gotta get it tried. I take checks, credit cards too. That's so much money, I just don't know what to do. Oh, I'm trouble. Baby, baby, I'm trouble. Yes, I am. I'm trouble, can't you see? Would you like to get a job with me? I'm trouble. Hey, 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 I'm trouble. I'm trouble. Yes, I am. I'm trouble. I'm trouble. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trouble.
Dang, well, stand back, everybody. Welcome to Big
Holy
Blend Radio
cow.
with Nancy and Lisa. I know. You just heard I'm Trouble, in case you didn't get that. That's the first track on acclaimed blues singer Patti-Parks' brand new album. It's called Whole-Nother-World, and it's produced by Grammy Award-nominated blues great Kenny-Neal. Out today, May 28th, 2021. Go to thepattyparksband.com. And that's Patty with P-A-T-T-I. So thepattyparksband.com. Patty, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you so much for having me, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Hey, this is awesome. I mean, you kick butt. This whole album, it's amazing. And you go into some different styles, but, man, you are a blues woman. When did the blues start for you in regards to the music? When was the first time you had the blues?
Yeah, we're living the blues our whole life on and off, right? But I think, before I really, when I really started to fall in love with the genre, actually was a little bit later in my career. And I think it's because, first of all, I was exposed to it, number one, differently. And it was such the right time in my life, number one. And I had experienced a lot of things, and I just kind of transcended, kind of made me whole. When I was using that music, it was just, that's when I really started recording it.
And you said you were exposed to it differently. What do you mean by that?
Well, here's the thing. I have kind of a long story. So I started music about 16. So I was in a first band, and that was my husband now. But I had a different kind of group going on. I was a trio at 16, and there was a long period of time that I had stopped in terms of my involvement with music. But later on in life, lo and behold, it circles around, as life would have it. And who do I meet in the most unexpected place was one of my trio that I was involved with.
Yeah. Wow.
He's not my husband, by the way. But what he said to me was, "Are you still singing?" I'm like, "No, that's all gone. It's gone. I married. I had a life, a beginning of a life." And he said, "You know what? If I put that microphone in front of you, it's all over." And he said to me, "You know what?" He said, "Have you ever sang the blues? Have you thought about the blues?" And I'll tell you honestly, at that moment in time, I wasn't really thinking about that. And at that point in time, I didn't even really think that was going to be an option for me. I didn't really think about that. I had gone through some life changes, but he was right. And it really made a difference for me. Things started to really progress very, very quickly. After I started to, perform more and come out, it was probably 3 years into it. I then was represented my area in the IBCs. Shortly after that, different awards that were coming their way for being a blues vocalist. And my connection with it just became overwhelming. But also I understood, the beauty of this genre and what it represents and different types of blues music that I was exposed to. But I also then using it as a therapeutic modality, for kids that are trying to escape drugs. So that's how I got so connected with it and respectfully understand it. Yeah.
That's cool. I was on your website reading about that, with what you're doing, because I know you're also a nurse, but the Nurse and Blues Education Program. And I know there's a lot of blues in the schools programs. A lot of our friends do. But this is really interesting going into the drug rehab part, because some of the history of the blues artists, women were especially women and men. I mean, jazz and blues. There's a lot of naughty stuff going on back then.
Yeah,
but history.
Yeah. But yet, what if we even, how we use it, I kind of mirror my understanding in the sense that this genre served as an opportunity not only to communicate, but a way to survive, a way to entertain, but also a way to deal with what was happening in the moment's time and putting it into music. And why that's really reflective of chemical dependency is that it gives us an opportunity to maybe do a deep dive into feelings maybe you can't speak to. And here's the difference, and I'm so glad you brought this out. Was it Nancy that said this? It's eclectic in the sense that I don't go and perform. I have a board-certified music therapist that works in the program, and she creates musical interventions using blues music. And so she really, from a therapeutic perspective, she, understands what may be happening with that individual and kind of creates a situation that kind of unleashes some stuff that maybe we don't really want to go back to. The other part of that is, what started me involved with that, right? So, experiencing a child that, at 16 was dependent on drugs and had a chemical dependency issue, kind of catapulted me in a situation where I'm thinking I can't try my best to help him.
Yeah.
And what do I do? What can I do as far as helping others, deal with certain things that are really hard to talk about?
I think music really helps. It is a therapy and it's a language. And then we always talk about it's a universal language. But there's something that, I think you can get your hands into, you can create, you can do. It's like art, right, Nancy? I know you've done a lot with that, with youth. But there's something that you can get into the blues. I'm not going to say you're going to be the best blues singer or musician, but you can get into it and learn. I know everyone does, the classical music first, but if you get into the blues first, it opens doors to all the rest of the music, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you got that right. You got that right, for sure. Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest challenges was trying to get a music therapist to fit, because, initially when I was interviewing music therapists, a lot of them could not understand how blues could be used. They were thinking, that's not appropriate. It's sad. I had one therapist tell me, we won't want to use that. And I laughed at that, and I thought, I feel sorry because you lack that knowledge and understanding. And it actually, we've served probably, 1,400 individuals suffering from chemical dependency. We're at a little girls' campus from 16 and above, and an adult campus we go. And that's when I first met Kenny-Neal and Walter Trout, because the Blues Foundation had me go downtown and speak at a symposium with both of them about talking about the healing power of blues, and Marie Trout, Dr. Trout, was there as well. So that's kind of when I first met Kenny as well.
Wow. Go ahead, Nancy.
I was just going to say the blues to me is similar to painting, where you've got something to say, whether it's sad or happy or bad or whatever. You've got something to say and you can't quite verbalize it.
Right.
You'd have to sing it or throw some paint on the canvas or get some clay out. It's until you can actually say it. It's its own brand of therapy. Because
You
somehow,
got it.
yeah, when you're singing or you're doing something with it, more than just talking about it or singing it, you have to do something with it first. Like it's your personal way of handling and explaining.
And I got to tell you, it's nothing planned. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's not like you think about, geez, I really want to put that into words, but it's just so natural. And that's really, I've witnessed it usually when I go into the rehab centers to just kind of see what's going on and meet the girls and stuff. I was very humbled by what I had heard, and and a lot of these girls being connected. I mean, one point I had gone in and they were singing some songs from Etta James, and I was like, wow, this is just so cool, just so cool.
Awesome.
But but we're really proud of that program. But that's a long-winded answer. I'm sorry, but my connection with the blues, like I said, it just ballooned, and I'm just so appreciative.
What I think is also. Well, right now, Netflix, Hulu, all of those platforms have got all the blues women, all these movies coming out on the blues women. And to me, it's really cool for the youth to see that. Kind of like, oh, this is who their story. I mean, if you look about like women and blues artists from way back when never made their money, though that's not true. Some did.
Right.
But you know what I mean? There's this, to get into the history of it and because there's a lot of struggle that blues musicians went through on a personal level. I mean, just look at the change in what was going on in our country at the time of when you could say blues was, happening. And it does deal with slavery and times. And, so it's a resiliency comes out of the blues. And I think that's exactly it with what you're doing.
Exactly.
And I think we as listeners are attracted to really good blues music because we need to have resiliency, and I think that's part of what music gives us is that energy. Right. Yeah,
exactly. It's that soulful connection that you can't explain, and it is a whole other world. And I don't want to be corny, but it is. I call it like even like the experience that I had, creating this album with Kenny. When I went down, I flew down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I've been singing for a bit, but what I experienced down there was nothing I've ever experienced before for so many reasons. A strong sense of community. The musicianship was incredible. Kenny's brilliant, but you think you got it, and then all of a sudden you get to experience it, and I can't even put it into words. I call it, a spiritual music awakening. That's how I describe it. It was all of that. It were feelings I've never had before, things that come out vocally. You're like, afterwards, you're like, where did that come from? Because it was so engaged in the moment, and incredible, just incredible. And that's why we called it that title. It's like, it's just something I've never been able to.
Whole-Nother world,
I'm so grateful for it, honestly.
Do you feel kind of more freedom singing the blues
yeah.
Yeah. Throw that
to
on
be
the canvas.
Right, exactly. It's your own personality, and you know what? It is just that. I'm not, I am who I am. I'm not trying to be anybody else. I love what I hear. People will say, "Who influenced your singing?" And I can say, everybody did. Everyone did. Anything that was pleasurable, you sort of record that in your mind, of what, and it's there. It's not something intentional. And so that's why, I think I was able to do that, though, because of the atmosphere for which I recorded this. And I did not, there's some songs I didn't know I was going to do till I got down there, number one.
Wow.
And number two, and number two, I did not have pre-recorded backing tracks, and, that was recorded beforehand, and then I practiced at home. No. That was all down in Baton Rouge. And let me tell you, hearing the live musicianship that was present, no. Yeah, that was just crazy.
Yeah, and
cool.
the song selection, Tell us about that. I see you've got a couple. Like Don't Play Me Cheap. I love that. By the way, that's I love that. It's one of my favorites. By Bob Greenlee. So obviously you like Bob Greenlee's music. So, and I'm looking at who's written it. Yeah. How did this all come down for that?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that, because here's the story to that. So Kenny was involved with a huge project years ago. I don't even know. I'd have to ask Kenny, maybe 25 years ago, maybe more. And Erica Gerwin was this up-and-coming vocalist, blues vocalist, who was part of the project, right? She unfortunately passed before she could be that shining star that was looked at. And she deserved it, if you heard her vocals. And she passed very early at a young age. So Kenny, when we first spoke about the project, had me listen to some of her songs. And Bob Greenlee wrote a lot of these songs. And he was, so when I heard them, I selected them along with some of the choices that Kenny had sent me. And these are the songs I chose. Most of them were written by Bob Greenlee, who was part of King Snake Records, right? And but those are some of the songs that he wrote. And one of them, I think Erica wrote as well.
Yeah, More Than You'll Ever Know.
As well. Yeah,
More Than You'll Ever Know. Yeah, Bob Greenlee, Kenny-Neal, and Erica. And then also Baby B, which we want to play, because Baby B is written by Kenny-Neal and Bob Greenlee, originally recorded by Kenny-Neal. But this is a good, I want people to see that difference in your voice, too, and the collaboration between the two of you, but also to hear that other side of the blues, because you've definitely got the rockin' style, but then this is a whole different, it's a whole nother world.
You're not kidding. Thanks.
Did you hear that? No, but it's true. So everyone, Whole-Nother-World album out today, and we're going to play this. We're going to play Baby B. So, and if there's anything to do with the B, we're playing it, even though it's a different B.
Okay,
but here it is. Baby B, take a listen.
Baby B, please be good to me. Baby B, please be good to me. Say you're much too young to try and fool old King B like me. When I hear buzz around my head, I don't want to hear buzz when you come to me with a lot of jive. Baby B, much too young. And a fool, an old queen bee like me.
Big Blend Radio with Nancy and Lisa, and that was Baby B, written by Kenny-Neal and Bob Greenlee. Bob, I thought I said Pops there, but Bob Greenlee, and that was recorded with Kenny-Neal and also Patti. And Patti-Parks is on the show with us now, and this is on her album Whole-Nother-World out now, so you can go to thepattiparksband.com, and that's Patti with 2 T's and 1 I. So, Patti, welcome back. See, that whole different sound, man, that just is, it's swampy. It's swampy.
That's
opening, isn't it? Yeah.
It's opening to a movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you know what? That's so funny because someone had said it to me the other day. I think that's funny. Yeah, because you can almost close your eyes and envision it, right? You can almost see it if you close your eyes, you know. And but yeah, I mean, with how it started with, like I had said, before, it's like his vocals, Kenny-Neal's vocals, that first line. You're already in time. You're already put yourself in time,
Yeah.
But that was my first acoustic record. I'm sorry, second. I did another one. But this is the one with Kenny-Neal that I'm just, I went out of a little bit out of my comfort zone because this is one of the songs we decided on right then and there. So he said, why don't we do this? And reviewed the lyrics, and lo and behold, this is what happened. And it was something I'm really proud of. I mean, I think it sounds really, really cool, very, very different. And I love that word, swampy. I think you're right. I think that really, for sure.
It just is that swampy and the toe tap, that slow toe tap. And Kenny-Neal's vocals at the beginning remind me of some old school John Lee Hooker. That kind of like how he slowed it down, like that. It's just, oh man. And the two of you together, it's just such a cool, I love that. It's one of my favorite songs. Well, I know this, again, it's like you get, musicians and singers like you on our show, and it's like, which song should we play? I want to make sure we play this one. Oh, well, we want to play that one. So it's a really good album with good choices and a good variety and a good flow. Really cool. I can't wait to drive, because we travel. So you might have heard a little Gussie bark in the background there. That's just blows away.
He's into it.
But, he heard it, and he's like, you heard that? And he's like, listen, I'm going to bark into that. He really doesn't look like a blues hound, though. He's a little poodly thing. But he's into it. But as we travel, man, to listen to music like this is so cool. So I can't wait to take this on the road. We're going to need it next week. So we're going to be listening. But speaking about getting out, how's it been? This whole COVID thing has just really sucked for musicians and for the audience. And, the online thing is cool, but we can't wait for live concerts. But looking at your website, it seems like you're back in the saddle with performances up in Buffalo area, right, of New York? Right.
Yeah, we're going to be going to, although I'm starting to book for 2022. I mean, I've got some stuff in Florida. But yeah, I mean, we're just starting to open up because our rates are really low. Restrictions are starting to be lifted, thankfully. Cool. Like you said, if, part of who you are has kind of been missing for like a year and a half. And, but yeah, they're starting to open up. We're doing a lot of Western New York now, Central New York, and then we'll be moving out globally, I think. So yeah, we're excited about it. And I know, not just for us, but the audience is dying. They're in our area, the first thing they opened up was bowling, which I love. I know people love to bowl, and I'm not knocking it, man. It's a great sport. Although you wouldn't want to bowl with me because I get a gutter score the whole thing. But that being said, everybody's got their thing, right? So for people who really love music, it's been like, oh, I can't take it anymore. Of course, we feed off our audience, so it's always a good thing, right? That connection. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So you're saying even some in Florida, or do you think any of the festivals from some of the cruises I've seen seem to be coming back for the fall and then next year, early next year, for festivals? Oh, we want that. We want that.
We want it so bad.
What is the blues scene like in New York?
We actually have a pretty heavy blues scene. We have, where I live, there's music almost every night before, pre-pandemic. Now we are opening up, and sometimes there would be matinees and then stuff in the evening. So there is a big congestion.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it's for us, because we live it all the time, when I go outside my area and I go to another township, I'm looking for that same thing. It's hard to find it. I'm really surprised that that where I am and we're close to Canada, that we have so much blues music and the availability, during the week for sure. So I think we're getting back to that, and that's always good,
That's cool.
Yeah.
We got close to you last year. We were in Erie, Pennsylvania. And
Oh,
friends
yeah,
emailing.
that's about an hour away. Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
I see you on Facebook. You're only a little bit away. We're like, we're at a winery, and I think the wine trail goes to you. This is cool.
Yeah.
But it just timing didn't work out because it was just, if you can imagine being a full-time traveler, the two of us, it's like we were on the road and every detour imaginable during COVID. It was like, really?
Now we're closed.
Let's just put a tent on the top of the car. It was getting really, that's why, people hear dogs bark on our shows now, but it's cool. But
we should write a song called "I'm Closed."
But yeah,
there you go.
Go through the communities, and our first thing is where's the live music, and it's just and the year 2019, we did a lot of live music. We did like the Blues Festival in Greeley, Colorado, which I would love to see you perform there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I know. I'm just saying. I know they're opening back up. Oh my God, they have two. Mr. Sips was there.
Stages.
Watermelon Slip, Larkin and Poe. Oh my gosh! It was huge. They have two stages. You watch one set, and then when that band's done, you just turn your seat around and you watch the other ones. It's so cool.
Right. I love it. I love it.
I know. So I want to see you, but I'm going to watch. Where you're going because you never know. You said Florida next year. I know we might be in Florida too. So hopefully we'll come see you perform live because what I've heard and seen on YouTube, it looks like you kick some major live butt. So in other words, she is trouble. I'm trouble's a good thing to start with. So everybody can get this. It's out now. How do is it available for download? It's just best to go to your website?
You can do either one. I mean, the thing of it is, yes, it will be available either way, and it definitely will be available on the website. We have some pre-orders, that happened prior to us dropping it now today. But, you'll be actually able to get the CD on the site and also, of course, digitally. You can purchase it for sure.
Awesome. And everyone, it's again through Kenny's Booga-Records label, and that's Kenny Neal. And we're going to close with It's a Man's World, old James Brown classic. And you really kicked this. This is good. It just, when you ever hear women sing this, it's like, okay, what prompted this song to be on the album?
Well, you know what? I got to tell you right now, I absolutely love James Brown. Okay, this is one of the I can't even put into words how much I love this song, and I actually perform this song a lot. Usually not with the ending as it was, but it ends in a very eerie ending on the song, which is just leaves a whisper. But also, my thing what prompted that, again, everything's all individual. Music's up to interpretation, right? But for me, it was like, to me, the seed had to be planted that women are an intricate part of the world. And so for that reason, that's why we are together as a planet, together to do things. And but let's not forget our women. So, and I don't mean that in any political way, in any kind of fashion. I just mean for humanity's sake. And that's kind of what I felt about it, the strength of it that I have as well. Yeah. So I loved it. I loved the way it came out, and I'm so glad. I loved the eerie ending on it. I just love it.
Well, congratulations on Whole-Nother-World being out now. We want to thank our friends at the National Parks Arts Foundation for being our sponsor of today's show. They are an awesome organization. We love them. We do our first Friday Toast of the Arts and Parks show with them every month. They host artists in residence in national park units across the country. So you get to spend a whole month. Wow. You're a musician, a painter, a poet, a filmmaker. You could stay in a park like Volcanoes National Park for a month to create Chaco Canyon over in northern New Mexico. Dry Tortugas, you get your own private island in the Florida Keys. Just saying. You're going to Florida.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Can I thank them, too, for God's sake? Can I please thank them, too? How wonderful. How wonderful. What a sponsor. Yeah.
They're on, they're on our shows all the time, and we just have this big love relationship, and we love what they're doing. We interview the artists and musicians and writers that are in residence, and we try to get to the parks as well, because that's what we do, is we travel, is document parks and public land. But nationalparksartsfoundation.org, everyone, an amazing nonprofit. Keep up with them. They're doing some really big fundraising efforts right now, and because grants are all changing in the world. So, again, nationalparksartsfoundation.org. And while I'm on website, keep up with Patti, go to thepattiparksband.com, and that's P-A-T-T-I, thepattiparksband.com, to get the album, and also see if you can go to one of her live performances. And if you do let us know about it. We'll be jealous.
Can I just tell you, I love you, Lisa and Nancy, and thank you for the time for having me on, and I do want to meet you guys, and we'll have a rockin' night, okay? Thanks again to your listeners, too. God bless.
Thank you, and thank you for being a nurse as well, doing everything you're doing with kids, too, but also for being a nurse. I know it's been a rough year and a half, so we appreciate your work as well. I know. All right, here it is. It's a man's world. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
This is a man's world. It's a man's world. If it's not there, if not for you see, man made a car to carry us over the road. Man made a train to carry heavy load. Man made electric lights to keep us out of the dark. Like Noah made the ark. This is a man's world. If you're not there, it's not for a girl. You see, man thinks about little baby girls, a little baby boy. Man makes him happy, 'cause it makes him tall. Man makes money to buy from another man.